Our last formal speaker is Charles Vernon. He is chairman of the Training and Education Committee of the Furniture Makers Company. He was master from 2012 to 2013, and he was chief executive of Gloucester Furniture, and prior to that had been the managing director and maid board director of Parker Knoll. So he knows a thing or two about furniture. He served for the livery and the charity for 27 years, so he has a depth of experience about what has gone on before. We're here today because of his determination to deliver practical solutions to this real challenge. He may be retired, but he is not retiring. Charles.
Thank you. Have I been in the livery that long? And I still haven't learned to wear a tie in the hall, so those who it offends, I don't apologise. Thanks for coming. It's been a very good turnout today, and everyone who's presented, thank you. I feel at this point that we have a very good picture of where we are as an industry and where education, particularly training, is at the moment. And I'm going to talk about, we're going to move from the underground of mind the gap to dentistry and how we're going to fill the gap. You're supposed to laugh. Come on, I know it's after lunch, but I asked Philippa to speak earlier because she's considerably more attractive than me. She's shorter than me. Am I allowed to say that? She's actually much more persuasive than me, and she's considerably smarter. Now, some of those things are quite easy to do, but she spent a year studying and has brought a lively, very good mind to the situation that we face and has come out with some solutions. Those solutions are on the back of a lot of analysis, a lot of reasons why she's come out with those solutions. And when you get your MA, I presume you're going to get your MA, whoever
so.
Is your tutor here?
Alex is
Alex?
over there.
She needs a good one, okay? Okay? We'll pay you later. I'm sure it'll be allowed to be published, will it?
Yes.
And we'll make sure it's available. But so Philippa's put a lot of intellect into this. I don't have much intellect, but I think I know a bit about our industry, and I've been listening carefully to what people say. So I presume it's this one. So these are the conclusions that Pete, who was promoted to professor this morning, I noticed, which really does stretch the imagination. The things that the survey showed that were the conclusions of what we needed to do, what we as an industry needed to do. We needed to have a schools engagement policy. Well, we do. We've got Make It, we've got the books program from here, but the survey is saying more than that. It needs to be a real engagement policy. That's the word that came out. We need to clarify skills and provision and availability. Andy, where are you? Excellent job in taking an extremely confused situation on training and making it slightly less confused. But as you saw in Andy's last slide, he finished with this confusion coming on the funding on future apprenticeships. Apprenticeships available to all. Great theory, but how do you get an apprenticeship if you're nowhere near a college or if your college doesn't want to do apprenticeships? Dialogue with all training providers. Well, actually, I'm really pleased that two of the most significant independent training providers are here today. Pity they're not all here today, and that many of the colleges. So we're starting to see that we can get training providers together. Regional initiatives, that's also starting. The furniture makers now have a northwestern region. It's somewhere up north anyway. So we've got an organisation where we're starting to make regional things happening, and the furniture makers are just starting a Chiltern, Oxford and Cotswolds region, which is very early, where we look to have regional organisations which can do things on a regional basis. So it's starting. Resource sharing. Well, if I've ever seen resource sharing, it was today. Thank you to all of you who shared your experiences and policies. There's a huge amount of information that everyone here can take away, and we're videoing it, as you can see, and we will be making everything available in some form for other people to take. Best practice, we've certainly heard a lot of best practice talked about today. Industry engagement, I think we can see that starting. And dialogue with government is being filmed. I'm very sorry that Steve McPartland couldn't be here. Steve's a great ambassador for us. I'm even more disappointed that no government minister would want to come along to an organisation like this, but that's for another day. We're in a complex industry. You've seen the figures. Pete put some figures up earlier. There are 8,000 companies in our industry. I think the average number of employees in a company, averages are dangerous, is certainly under 10. But we've got sort of two groups of companies. We've got a lot of small companies, and we've got a reasonable number of medium companies. I was telling Richard with his company, 50 employees, you're a large company. In our industry, that's where the large companies start. And there are quite a few large companies, but the majority of our industry is small. But yet, with that number of small companies, our industry is larger than the aerospace industry in this country. So we've got to do something. We've got to do something to make sure that that gap is actually filled for our industry to be strong in 20 years' time. Well, those were the conclusions on the previous slide from the survey. And I wrote this slide yesterday, the extra conclusions from the conference, and anyone sitting near me, I apologise for the sound that my computer was making, but I had to update it today because I learned some things today. So the need for action is real. There is no doubt we've got to be doing more than we're doing. That is not in any way putting down what we are doing, but we need to do more. The future is in our hands. It's in nobody else's hands. The government is not going to sort our problem out for us. No one is going to sort it. Our industry has to address our own problems, our own issues, to give our industry a future. Enthusiasm's high. We're now at 3:15, and everyone's still awake, and everyone's quite interested in what we're talking about. There's a level of enthusiasm in our industry that we need to do something. And as we've seen, large companies, 50 and above, are certainly getting on with solving the issue. Shortage of sewers, let's form a sewing school is a very good example. Large companies are getting on with doing things about it. We've seen today, and Philippa, with your little group, those are fantastic statistics, to invite 10 teachers, to get responses from 6, and to get 4 along to a group. Schools need active encouragement. Philippa can encourage most people, by the way, but they need active encouragement. They need engagement. Something it was a bit in the survey, but has come across today is we've got a lot of concentration thinking about schools, but new entrants in our industry can actually come from any age. You don't need to be 16. My daughter gave up a career in the city. Well, she does it as a consultant because she earns more money that way. But she's retrained on one of Richard's courses to be a reupholsterer at the age of 32, and she loves doing it. It's possible to come into our industry at any age. Whinging, is that spelled right? Yeah. Whinging? Okay, if you know how to spell whinging, that means you've probably been whinging at some time. Whinging is a complete waste of time. We can't say, oh, this is wrong and that is wrong. We can't blame young people if they don't want to come into our industry. We can't blame government for not funding us. Whinging is a waste of time. It's actually our own action that needs to produce results. And a point that Richard made earlier, which I thought was absolutely on the button. It's not just about skills. It's about culture and behaviour to fill the gap that we believe exists. That was the last point. So those are the extra conclusions. Those are the things that I've picked up from today. I'm sure everybody has picked up a lot of other things. Jessica has been writing so many notes. I thought she learned so much, and she said it's the only way she keeps awake during conferences to write notes. But I'm sure you others have got conclusions and things that they've learned from today, and there will be time for reflection. So how do we move forward? Again, from the report, and you're all getting a copy of the report as you leave, those who paid to come along today, the copy of the report is free. So if you pay £35, if you're a guest speaker or didn't pay, the report costs £50 each. Okay, so Pete will take your money afterwards. No, there's a free copy for everybody as you go, and please do study it. But this is what the report says. The industry is beginning to take positive steps in skills and training needs. That's for sure. We've seen it today. Sometimes it's a little bit because the house is on fire. That's the time you go and find a bucket and fill it with water. There's a little bit of that, but the industry is taking some positive steps. There are many shared perceptions of the type of individuals that will deliver future success. If you go back 10, 15 years, maybe 20, there was a big concentration on needing to sharpen chisels and craft skills. There's much more of an understanding now that our industry has got specialized skills, but it's also got a lot of engineering type skills that exist in other industries. So there are more shared perceptions now than there were a few years ago what we're looking for. But an underlying concern is that there doesn't appear to be any one organisation responsible for a coordinated, consistent national approach. That's what comes across. There's a lot of people in this room where filling the skills gap, making sure our industry's got a future is a very important thing close to their heart. But we need a lead body. A champion is needed to address the gaps identified. So I want to tell you what the vision of this company, the Furniture Makers Company, we are the worshipful company of furniture makers. If you know how to spell worshipful and you're not a member, it means you went to a very good school. I can remember getting a bench carved when I was master and had the worshipful company of furniture makers by a carver, and he spelled worshipful correctly, and he told me it's because he went to a good school. But we are the Furniture Makers Company. That's how we style ourselves now. That's what we believe in. That's on the inside cover of our annual report. It's called Austin Friars, which you haven't got a copy. I'm sure we've got some. Our vision is for a thriving British furnishing industry with a talented workforce delivering high-quality products, and the same organisation supports those in need from within its ranks and those who have served in the past. That's what we stand for. So I'm going to be proposing to the court. The court's our board. The court is the body that runs that leadership role. We, within the furniture makers, we take that really seriously. I haven't updated the slide as I should have done. And the look for funding was supposed to be the next bit of the slide. So just read the first bit first. We as the furniture makers, we have the luxury of not being a trade body. We are an organisation that people join because they care about our industry, and we are a charity. And we're in a unique position to be able to do that. But we are a charity, and we don't do things without being able to raise money to do things. So I want us as the furniture makers to be able to take that lead role and attract the money, because the initiatives that I'm going to talk about here are going to need support, either in kind or money to make them happen. And we see that there's really 4 connected initiatives that come out from the report and from what's been said today. We absolutely have to do more in schools and education initiatives. There are initiatives happening, but we've got to do more to be getting the message across that this industry is a viable career, an exciting career. We need to find the 49% of people who think our industry is not exciting, and the other 25% who don't know if it's exciting, and put them on the rugby field at Twickenham, or do something with them to wake them up to the fact that it should be 100% of our industry find our industry exciting. So we've got to do something towards the people who could come into our industry to show them that this is a very exciting industry. And we've got to do, and this may be more important than getting to the young people, we've got to get to the employers, to educate the employers in our industry how to take people on, how to retain skills, how to train people, how to value the skill base for what it really is in our company, and that is everything. However good our CNC routers are, however good the materials that we buy. Without people, it's absolutely nothing. So the second initiative is in that area. The third initiative is we've got to be able to communicate to people, both employers and entrants into our industry, what actually is the training, what actually is the education that's available. If anybody wants to take a debate on the difference between education and training, I'll give you John Makepeace's number and you can talk to him, because it is a debate we need to have at some time. At the moment, I'm talking about really the training of skills and things specific to our industry. And we need to take forward what we've, in a way, started today and have much more of a national training and education forum. So the specifics. The Schools and Education Initiative, and these are big brush, as the Chinese would say, these are big brush things. They're not worked out tactics at the moment. So we need to put our industry in front of kids at school, secondary and primary. We heard that today. You know, primary kids. We asked someone in the street, what did they make at school? Unfortunately, I've still got at home what my kids made at school. They didn't want to take it with them when they left home. And my mum threw away what I made. But never mind, they can remember what they made, and I can remember what I made. It's a really important thing. We've got to put our industry in front of kids at school, secondary and primary, young adults, college and university students, Chris, and scouts. I put that in last minute, as your brother's involved in that. As a career option, we've got to get it in front of young people. We've got to develop an education and training package for use in education, something which enables the enthusiastic teachers, of which there are many, who are constrained by all sorts of limitations within schools, but something that they can be using to be able to get practical skills, particularly furniture, in front of the kids. We're obviously going to need outside professional input to be able to develop something like this. And we're going to need to engage teachers from schools, but I think, as Philip has shown us, that's not going to be so difficult to do. Teachers who are enthusiastic about this want to help. And it needs to include competitions and exhibitions. A touch of those things is good for all sorts of reasons. And ideally, we need to find a way of delivering things to school, which is not just a central organisation sending out, but we involve the furniture makers and the companies around the country to get involved with their local schools. Many companies want to get involved with their local schools. They just don't know how to do it. They don't have the resources available. And if you're very good at running a factory, you're not particularly good at designing how to speak to kids. So by putting a package together which enables companies to work with schools and with teachers. And this is not new, this is a development. Make It has been running for several years, and the school books program, where we send 1,000 books out to schools, it's been running for 2 years now, just going into its third year, is to take what's happening now and develop it and make it all-encompassing. So that's initiative 1 that we are going to propose. Initiative 2 is we need to educate employers. I could ask Richard if he'll go on the road, but I doubt if you will, and go and talk to some of the smaller companies about, you know, the other aspects apart from just the logistics of it, the valuing of your employees. We've got to equip furniture industry employers better on how to recruit, develop new and existing staff. There are all sorts of anecdotal evidence. I'm sure Pete had to get rid of a lot of anecdotal stuff in the report, like, the trouble is, the kids nowadays, they don't want to learn. Sorry to put a northern accent on there. You know, it can be, let's blame the kids, rather than actually get to the heart of it, which is employers understanding what they need to do. And there's so much stuff that's out there. So I'm proposing we develop a recruitment package, primarily using existing materials, referencing existing courses and existing best practice. We'll need outside help, and we've had some great input from the people who presented today. So that's the second initiative. So the first initiative was to education, second is to employers, and the third is communicating what education and training is available. it is confusing. To all of us, it is slightly less confusing now that Andy has spoken to us, but I bet you by the time you get home, you'll still be confused again. It is confusing what is actually available. And we would propose an online database to cover all industry-related education. So anybody, whether it's a parent, a kid at school, an employer, knows what can I get in terms of training and where can I get it and what's that training going to bring me. It requires a lot of work to set this up. This is an expensive thing to do. It requires a lot of work to set it up because it does need to be maintained to really contain value. And the fourth thing is to develop what we've done today and take a training and education forum forward. We did start. We've had a very successful cooperation between Buckinghamshire New University and Rycott Wood, City of Oxford College, OVC, VC, whatever you're called, Chris, whatever the latest name for your college is. But it was a very good cooperation between two colleges to form the National School of Furniture. That's moved on. Buckinghamshire University are doing less furniture now, and so the National School of Furniture, as it was, didn't develop beyond the two colleges. But we think that what's happened at the National School of Furniture and what's happening today, we can create a national forum for education and industry to get together to discuss the issues, to advise and to bring ideas forward so that education and industry can be on the same page. And a timetable for action is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask all of you, we've got a question and answer session coming up in 2 minutes time where we're going to get some questions, but we need feedback from everybody. We need feedback on what we've heard today. We need feedback on these initiatives that we are suggesting are the way forward. We can take that in questions and answers. We can take it, you can stay for a glass of wine afterwards. And Dami will be emailing everyone. You don't know this, do you? Dami will be emailing everybody afterwards. We're going to send everybody a feedback form so we get your specific input on the things that we've talked about today. And we'd like everybody who comes to reply to that. If not, it's another £35 and we will invoice you for it. We really do need your feedback. We have a fantastic cross-section of the industry here. So it's feedback. Then I have to stand up in front of the court and persuade the court to prove that we do become the lead body. That's a decision. Do we, as the furniture makers, really want to lead the industry forward? I'm very pleased I've got most of the strategy committee here today, who will be the ones who put it to the court. We'll do detail on the overall plan. We need to raise some money. We need to find partners to do these things. We've got to actually get things done. We need people who are going to say, yeah, I can do that for you. I can give you this amount of money, whatever, so we can actually put a program together. Then we think we will probably start with the forum. I don't know whether that's the right thing to start with. Certainly get going on the database. Educate employers is probably the next thing to do, and spend our time developing a schools program, because that requires the most work to do, with the aim that we get everything done by the end of 2017 would be how I would see we would take things forward. So that's what I put in front of you. That's what I've got from the report and from what I've heard in the conference today, and how I see we as a lead body can actually take what's happened here, what's happened through the report forward, to make sure we are moving from being underground trained drivers to dentists in filling the gap. Thank you very much.